Festivals are created to make people happy and elevate their spirit, even if it's for just a few days during the year. Every festival has its own purpose to preserve the heritage and highlight a culture's uniqueness and traditions. But there is one special festival that was created with a specific mission. It has been happening every 3 years in the dreamingly beautiful countryside of the Champagne-Ardenne region in France. This festival's mission was to bring a smile back to children's faces during and after World War II with the help of the wonderful world of the puppets, or, as the locals call it, Festival Mondial de Théâtre de Marionettes. A new day at the Champagne-Ardenne region. Just an hour and a half northeast from Paris. Waking up to a beautiful morning, smelling the fresh baguette, and listening to the sounds of the quiet countryside seem to be miles away from the joyous celebration this region is about to experience. At Charleville-Mézières, the festival's host city, the Place du Cal, its main plaza, is just starting to rise up to its activity from the clouds of morning fog. This plaza will soon dress up in one of the happiest events of the year. Stores are adjusting to the occasion. Morning croissants are served with the puppets as decorations. Street vendors put up their displays with the festival's main theme.
This festival is a remarkable event in Charleville-Mézières. It's very important for the town because it creates animosity and happiness. People are happy to go here, and everyone is okay with the marionettes.
It's all about puppets here, all sizes and shapes. Since it's an international festival, it's only natural the puppets will have their own cosmopolitan identity.
Buenas tardes.
Hey, bonjour les enfants.
Bonjour. Yo soy el panadero.
The traditional way of holding a string doll may surprise many, because this festival has its own interpretation of puppet tradition.
Okay, Vince können die Wassermaschine im Becken. Die Funde wie Latrina. Okay, die Schau. Hey, hey! wanted to do something with dolls, and particularly with Barbies, Mattel Barbies. We have many reactions. Some people love it. Some people are afraid. Someone say disgusting or something like that. It depends on the people. It's really personal. It's your story. It's not the baby story. It's the story of the people who are looking at it.
Does it have a name?
It's baby. All our puppets have one name, but this one is baby.
The whole city becomes a venue for puppet performances. The festival's main events are happening in the plaza and the streets that surround it.
Le Gaston, c'est Nestor le Gaston.
Les coups de des sorties, les coquettes d'armes sont très très forts, ils savent le couper du corps. Avec leur ronde culotte, ils sont bien rigolotes, ils mangent les troncs pour fabriquer leur maison.
Nestor, le Gaston, c'est Nestor le Gaston. Nestor, le Gaston, c'est Nestor le Gaston.
Comme c'est bientôt la nuit.
Performers from all over the world come here as it's the Puppets Mecca and the world's greatest meeting place of puppetry.
Raconte une histoire qui peut le dire fort de mes frères.
Qui quiere pan calentito?
Qui est-ce qui va vouloir manger du pain chaud?
¡Qué suerte, qué suerte!
Oh, quelle chance!
Todo el mundo quiere comer pan.
Tout le monde veut manger du pain.
Todo el mundo quiere pan calentito.
Vous voulez tous du pain chaud? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
¿A dónde está el panadero?
Il est où le boulanger?
Aquí. Oh no, no.
Yo soy titiritero hace muchos años, prácticamente que era niño, y desde que era niño escucho de Charleville. Así que algún día me tenía que venir y esta vez fue la vez mía de venir.
Hier, il m'a poussé, je suis tombé là-bas sur le côté. Il me gêne toujours.
Más que nada jugamos con los niños y es un público muy divertido porque responden, siempre están ahí presentes y siempre entregan lo mejor de ellos mismos y lo estamos pasando muy muy bien y me alegro mucho de haber conocido a Julio.
Qué bien. ¿Nos pueden introducir las marionetas esas?
Ah, de que se presenten.
Sí.
¡Oh, qué bueno! Yo soy el payaso Plin Plin, el rey de los payasos. Ay, ay, dale.
Yo soy el diablo y me voy a comer todo el pan.
Ah, ya ando haciendo titiritero y todo.
We're from Stockholm, from the Dramatical Institute of Art, Theatre, Film and TV. And we're on a puppet theatre program.
Autrefois,
Mūsų paveikslas našing. Sako.
I wanted to try out these Chinese hand puppets, so basically it's just a long fight between two hand puppets, Chinese hand puppets.
And why? Why Chinese?
It started out just because I wanted to try that technique and I wanted to work with it and see what it gave me back. And then in the end it ended up as a performance.
Det är så härligt att gå i solen, solen.
We only study puppetry, so there are different classes. They take other programs. We're almost the whole class. We're 4 people that does puppetry in our school.
In all of Sweden.
In all of Sweden.
Det är så härligt att gå i solen, solen, solen. Den värmer så. Det är så härligt att se på himlen.
I guess I like the kind of black humor that somehow tells us something, the dark side of things. And I also like comic magazines, the kind of images with a lot of, blood and splatter and stuff. So I wanted to see if you could do that in puppetry. You could make it, you could realize it without becoming too, confusing.
Men jag sjunger ändå.
Not all shows are on the street. The official festival performances are for invited artists from all over the world. Themes of their show vary from comedy to dramatic plays.
Well, this is a piece that evokes Walter Benjamin. Walter Benjamin, the German Jewish writer of the 1920s and 30s in exile from Berlin who made his home in Paris. Generally understood to be the first deconstructionist, the first postmodernist. And his writings were, in some sense, travelogues. He wrote about Naples, Moscow, Paris in different centuries. But they weren't really travel articles. They were really philosophical articles that touched on spiritual issues, touched on political issues, and really captured not only the spirit of the time of the article, but the whole sense that any time does have a spirit, that in a specific time and place, there's a spirit of that time and place, and we try and do that as well. Charlottesville, this is the 6th time that we've played in this particular festival. We played here for the first time in 1982. Have a history with Charlottesville. It's a rich festival. There's a lot going on here. A lot of friends come, other puppet companies, people we want to meet again, and in one place. There's a lot of pressure. It's not an easy festival, but the atmosphere can be very good.
Hey man, away, come on, listen. Ah man, let's do it good.
The festival's roots go back to World War II. An unusual story of friendship and humanity stands behind the festival's existing reason.
Ont reçu leur force auprès de leur mère, la duchesse Auge. Sur ces pensées,
Jacques Felix, an extraordinary man of 82, is the founder of the festival and its live and breathing soul.
Eh bien, le Festival mondial des théâtres de marionnettes.
The International Puppet Festival in Charleville, Missouri has a long history that began with a group of young men in their 20s.
Une équipe de jeunes gens, il y avait une dizaine de jeunes garçons.
The youngest was 17 years old.
Vivaient ici à Charleville.
They all lived here in Charleville, Missouri during the last World War in 1941.
En 1941. Et nous
We were looking for ways to express ourselves when we were under occupation.
à trouver
It was for the children.
autorisé par les autorités occupantes.
The puppets helped make little children laugh. And for us, the puppeteers,
les petits-enfants. Et nous, ça nous a les manipulateurs.
Well, it permitted us to meet because it was forbidden.
Revenir sans être appréhendé. Maintenant, la marionnette a su reconquérir.
Today, the puppets have reconquered the adult public. They use satire. For example, in French TV, there's a program with the news of the day with puppets. This is a real vocation of the puppet. To be a character that criticizes and passes a message that is very strong when presented as a puppet. I think the puppeteers in general are big children.
The festival city, Charleville, Missouri, is actually two twin cities that are united into one. This city is located in the Ardennes region that borders with Belgium. The Ardennes was united with the Champagne region many years ago. Although the region is called Champagne-Ardenne, there's a distinctive difference in scenery between the two. Ardennes, which is at the north, has many forests, and it was more than once a bloody battlefield. Champagne, on the south, is loaded with grapevines, and it is the birthplace of the King's sparkling drink, named after the region. Medieval times are long gone, but here in the magical town of Troyes, located in the southwest part of the region, it's possible to get a glimpse of how it was like to live back then.
Nowhere in Europe you can find so many old timbered houses, perhaps in Belgium or in Germany, but in Troyes there is a very, very nice concentrations. All the houses have wooden beams, and the beams are of all colors: brown, pink, yellow, blue, red. It's really like Sleeping Beauty, which is waking after centuries of sleeping.
Troyes was the ancient capital of the Champagne area. It is also the city of arts and famous for its many churches. 9 of them are located in the city center. Many believe that gargoyles were developed by medieval architects to ward off evil in an imperfect world. A fine patisserie is not hard to find anywhere in France. In Troyes, they sell colorful and tasty pastries, along with the local specialty, chocolates shaped like champagne corks. Located in the southern part of the region is the city of Langres. When a visitor enters the gates of this town, the feeling that surrounds him is of another time frame. Langres was built on a hill and is surrounded by a wall that protected it during many wars. You almost expect to see an armored knight emerging from its medieval, narrow streets. Cathedral Saint-Maume was built in the 12th century. Langres was the birthplace of Denis Diderot, one of the authors of the world's first encyclopedia, where one of its rare copies is right here in the city's museum. A little hidden place of artisan work is revealed in Le Moulin de la Floristerie. It is a factory that has preserved the same machinery and methods of work for more than 100 years.
All these tools have been made at the beginning of last century. I mean, so around 1890. And today, so we have different forms to make the different petals. But it's true that to make new tools like that would be very, very expensive. So these tools have been used for over 100 years now. So the technology here that we use in this mill is actually the last one in the east part of France, still using the water wheel, 110 volt electricity, to do a commercial production. And it's true that we are very proud to be able to show this technology and the know-how that our grandfathers were able to put on, and now to be able to show it to tourism and visitors.
This place provides essential material for some of the puppet makers, but it also serves a wide variety of famed and prestigious clients.
We are working with Chanel, for example. We are working as well with creators to make hat decoration, like, for example, Philip Tracy in England. And these people want to have the raw material in order to make their own decoration and own products.
Reims is a beautiful, large town located in the region's northwest. It is also a city of great historical value. At the Notre Dame Cathedral, the town's Gothic masterpiece, France's first king, Clovis, was baptized in 496. The kings of France were crowned here, making it a place where the history of the country really began. Joan of Arc was present under these high, almost endless ceilings when Charles VII was crowned. As the city itself, the cathedral has experienced destructions and was rebuilt again many times throughout wars and conquests. Past and contemporary art collide in perfect harmony, decorating its walls and stained glass windows. One of the last century's most acclaimed artists, Marc Chagall, contributed his talent by painting characters from the Old and New Testaments. Another landmark in Reims, the Saint Remy Basilica, is so impressive and still very active, it's hard to believe it's 1,000 years old. One of Reims' best restaurants is Le Café du Palais. Owned by father and son, this place serves the area's traditional dishes. It's almost a crime not to wash down a good meal with the region's #1 signature beverage. As the bubbly drink pours generously into the glasses, it's clear this is the land of champagne and regal food. This part of the country is so rich with vineyards and house wines that almost every village and city has its own label. One of the largest ones is Pommery in Reims.
So in 1868, Madame Pommery buys 75 hectares of land, discovered 120 chalk pits left over by the Gallo-Romans, and decided to use those to create the beautiful salad.
We are the Pommery House Champagne. This huge staircase made of 116 steps and leads to the caves of Champagne.
"2,000 years ago, the chalk pits served the Gallo-Romans to build the city of Reims. The tunnels are 30 meters underground. That provides a constant temperature of 10 degrees Celsius all year long, which is perfect for creating great champagne.
We have 20 million bottles in this case. These ones are the prestigious cuvée, la cuvée Louise, and they age in the case for at least 7 years. So you can see they're very dusty. The regular size bottle, the Magnum, the Jeroboam, Mathusalem, and Salmanazar. Salmanazar is 9 liters or 12 bottles. It weighs 18 kilos, and we can serve 80 glasses of champagne.
Since it's so easy to get lost in the dark caves that are 18 kilometers long, Madame Pommery had another ingenious idea to name each tunnel in honor of her customers' homes throughout the world. While processing champagne, the fermentation creates sediment. In order to remove the sediment, the bottles have to be turned manually for 6 to 8 weeks. With millions of bottles in their cellars, Pommery workers have to turn thousands of bottles by hand each day. This strong woman helped to shape Champagne, both the region and the drink, into what it is today.
We have a few famous widows in the Champagne area, and Madame Pommery did a lot for Champagne as well, because she first created the first Champagne Brut of history. In 1874, she launched on the market the first dry champagne of history, and then made the house, of course, quite successful.
It is the last days of harvest of the Pinot Noir at the Drapier Champagne House, located in Orville. This is a family business that goes back generations. Mr. Drapier, the family's father, closely watches the process of grape picking that has to be done only by hand.
Très bonne année. Très très bonne année. Beaucoup de soleil, pas d'eau.
Et c'est bon pour manger maintenant?
Ah oui. Laurent, c'est gourmand.
This winery already had a long history when Michel Drapier, the son and director, got involved in the business.
We are in 12th century cellars built by Saint Bernard de Clairvaux, and this cellar was built to make red wine at this time. And so Saint Bernard thought that he would plant Pinot Noir in this area to produce great wines and supply the King of France. We've been here since 1808, at the time of Napoleon Ier, and I'm the 8th generation. The Drapier Champagne is produced by only the Drapier people today. It's a whole family operation. What's unique in Champagne is the climate first, because Champagne is just at the border between the influence of the Atlantic Ocean and the continent of Europe. The soil is very unique as well. These vaults, these stone are limestone. We have chalk and limestone from the Jurassic time, and this soil has the highest percentage of active limestone in the world.
This modest but very accomplished winery has acquired high-profile clients throughout its history, including General de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle was one of our famous customers. He was living nearby, only a few miles from here. He was a good fan of Pinot Noir Champagne, and he loved our Pinot Noir cuvée. And now we produce cuvée spéciale, vintage, with the name Charles de Gaulle on the bottle, in very small and limited quantity.
Not only the king of drinks is here, but also the food. French cuisine has its own coronation in this field. When the local chefs work, it's not just cooking, it's an art form. Le Toc Bar-Aubin is a fine restaurant located in the town Bar-sur-Aube. Daniel Felizot, one of the most creative chefs in Champagne-Ardenne, cooks with hemp oil made from the cannabis plant because of its high health values. L'Auberge de la Montagne is a restaurant located in Colombey-le-Deux-Anglais, Charles de Gaulle's hometown. It also is owned by father and son. The dad, Gerard Nathalie, who is the founder of the restaurant, made room for the next generation, his son, Jean-Baptiste. The media named him one of France's most talented emerging young chefs. His efforts made the restaurant receive the highly sought-after Michelin star.
C'est éprouvette with sugar. Sugar. Inside you have mango with passion fruits. Inside is a mixture, you know, when you cut.
Spoon is too big, so what I think I will do is just have a bite. The glass is not good.
The festival goers at Charleville-Mézeray have their own selection of fast foods. Yes, even the French have their share of that. Between the shows, the visitors can enjoy a pleasant time at the many cafes that surround Place du Col. The exhibition of the National Puppet Institute near Place du Col, the city's main plaza, has brought together the work of accomplished artists. Francesco Marchi, who came here from Italy, has been making leather masks with his 4 brothers in their studio near Venice.
I think that it's interesting that the person that lives in Charleville has an international window to everything that has to do with the marionettes and the masks. For me, you have a bond, the puppet and the masks. I mean, it's like with my brothers. We are the same family, but each one does something different with the masks. But the origin is the same. It's the theater. It's like when you express an impression or an emotion, puppets also strive to create an emotion. So does the mask, because I can use my hands as well as the mask on my face. So yes, it's 2 different things, but it's the same family, that of the theater.
Partono dalla stessa famiglia, che è il teatro, il dio del teatro.
Since the city had become so involved with the puppets, Almost all shops made their little addition in playing dress-up during the days of the festival. There is even a window display competition with some very sophisticated exhibitions. The festival shows are extremely diverse, and they can answer to a variety of tastes. Compañía El Desnivel is a group of performers that came from Argentina. Alejandra Rodriguez from Buenos Aires wrote and directed a show that deals with memory and what molds our souls.
We started investigating the roots of the memory, what it means to remember, what comes through the heart. This story represents what we were looking for when we investigated what is memory. Memories in the puppets that represent our first childhood toys. Our first love, obviously. Our first childhood games.
No me digas el tener razón.
The story is about a group of friends that meet to keep their memories alive. So they exchange stories. They confront another group of friends that are in charge of forgetting. So it's a constant fight between those who want to maintain the memory alive against those who want to forget.
Very few people heard of the small African state of Burkina Faso in Western Africa, north of Ghana. Here in Charleville-Mézières, their sounds and colorful masks could not be ignored.
Made out of two different people, two different groups. There are people from the village, there are people dancing with masks. That's something very traditional, and it's not exactly a profession, it's something that people are doing after harvesting. And other are professional musicians. Part also of the Puppets Festival because it's puppets, inhabited puppets.
Last day of the festival, everybody gathers in the plaza to have a memorable moment with the puppets. The Champagne-Ardenne region is a treasure of a place to visit. The joyous memory of the festival, one of the region's shining jewels, will last for 3 years, until the next one in 2006.